Welcome back, friends, to study the next and the last phase of Indian monsoon, that is the season of the retreating monsoon. That is when the monsoon starts withdrawing from India. And this season starts in the middle of September and lasts up to November. The when the monsoon, unlike the season of a burst of monsoon, that is, there is sudden rainfall all over India and then monsoon suddenly covers the entire India. Season of a retreating monsoon is gradual. Why it is gradual? Because the season starts retreating along with the southward movement of the sun. So when the sun starts going in the southward direction, when the sun starts going in the southern hemisphere, in response to the southward movement of the sun, even the low pressure belt also the low pressure belts also moves southward. That is, if this is the equator, again the Tropic of Cancer, again the Tropic of Capricorn, that is 0 degree, 23.5 degree south and 23.5 degree north. So we know that in the month of September, on 22nd of September, the sun is exactly on the equator. On the 21st of September, 21st or 22nd of September, the sun is exactly on the equator. Obviously, that is in the month of September, the sun starts moving southwards. What is this? Actually, the sun is not moving southward. It is we who are moving away from the sun. But apparently, it looks as if the sun starts moving southward. So, with the moving of the sun southward, the heating and the insolation is also reduced. With the heating and the insolation being reduced, what is being moved southwards? The low pressure belt, because heating is related to the low pressure belt. Therefore, the low pressure belt also starts moving southwards. And this is known as the season of a retreating monsoon. So, the monsoon from India will start withdrawing, and the first withdrawal of the monsoon will be from the northwest of India. Then the monsoon will withdraw from the central part of India, then from the peninsular India, and last in the month of December, it will withdraw from the Kerala region. So this is the season of a retreating monsoon. Now, the season of the retreating monsoon is important for two phenomena. One is that during the season of a retreating monsoon, as the sun starts moving, therefore the low pressure belt is removed. As a result, the skies become clear. Because of the absence of a cloud cover, we know that, again I am repeating it, note it down somewhere, cloud reflects 27% of incoming solar radiation. That is, 27% of insolation is reflected by the cloud. The reflective property of a cloud, is known as an albedo of a cloud. So how much does the cloud reflect? 27%. So what is the albedo of a cloud? It is 27%. Now, as the skies become clearer, the more amount of insolation starts falling on the ground surface. But at the same time, there is no rainfall at all. But the ground has sufficient amount of moisture to trap the heat which falls on the ground during the daytime. Why there is a sufficient amount of humidity and moisture? Because the previous 3 seasons, the previous 3 months have been the season of heavy rainfall. As a result, the water vapor, that is the moisture, traps the outgoing solar radiation, and during the season of a retreating monsoon, the days become very hot. But at the end of a day, there is less amount. At the night time, it becomes cool. The day becomes so hot during the season of retreating monsoon that the season of retreating monsoon is famous for October heat. It is famous for October heat. क्यों हो रही है October heat? Why the October heat is occurring? Because cloudless clear skies, more amount of insolation is there. Previous 3 months of rainfall has sufficient, therefore the ground has sufficient amount of moisture. This moisture, water vapor, is a greenhouse gas. It traps the outgoing terrestrial radiation. The insolation will heat up the ground surface. After that, it will trap the outgoing terrestrial radiation, and this is known as an October heat. At the same time, we know that the sun, we know that the water gets heated at water gets heated and cooled slowly. That means water will take time to get heated. So if the land is getting heated in the month of May, June, July, the water starts getting heated slowly, and it gets heated during the month of September and October. It takes time to get heated. And as a result, during this season, when the water gets heated, low pressure centers develop on the water, the low pressure center develop on the water, and this low pressure depressions then mature into tropical cyclones. And these tropical cyclones, which are the natural disasters which we have done in the climatology, that these tropical cyclones are originate in the season of retreating monsoon. There are cyclones, tropical cyclones originate even in the season of May, but the maximum number of tropical cyclones originate in the season of retreating monsoons. And this tropical cyclone, they originate over both Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. But the cyclones in the Bay of Bengal are brought towards India because of the influence of the easterly jet and because of the influence of the prevailing winds. While the Arabian Sea tropical cyclones are moved away from India. Why? Because there is a jet stream over India. Why? Because the direction of the prevailing winds is there. The winds are blowing from east to west. Therefore, the tropical cyclones which originate near Andaman, near Bay of Bengal, they are brought towards the eastern side, eastern coast of India, and therefore this eastern coast of India during this season receives very heavy rainfall. While the tropical cyclones which originate in the Arabian Sea are drawn away from India, and therefore in the tropical cyclones in climatology, I have covered that type with the climatology. The tropical cyclones is a more the eastern coast of India is more vulnerable to tropical cyclones than the western coast of India, especially the states of Orissa and Andhra Pradesh. So now let us study what is there in the retreating monsoon. What you have to remember? October heat and tropical cyclones. So the season of retreating monsoon is a season from middle of September to November. It is a season from middle of September to November. Now, what is the point you should remember? Unlike the sudden burst of the advancing monsoon, the season of a retreating monsoon is gradual. It is gradual. It does not occur suddenly. It is gradual. So this statement can come that whether the statement is true or false. That is, the burst of the monsoon is sudden. The withdrawal of the monsoon is gradual. Yes, both the statements are true. So you can see the dates here. It starts withdrawing from India on the September 1st. First from which part of India? From the northwestern part of India. Then from September 15 by the Delhi region, October 1, then by October 15th, November 1, November 15th, and lastly by 1st of December and 15th of December. In the month of December, the retreating monsoon suddenly goes. So you see in the month of June, suddenly on any day of the June or July, depending on location, the monsoon comes. That is why we say sudden burst. But gradually it is removed. It is removed in 2-3 months. So it is removed very gradually. The retreating monsoon season is marked by clear skies and rise in temperature. Why rise in temperature? Because I told you absence of a cloud cover, therefore clear skies, insolation is more. But the land is still moist. Owing to the conditions of high temperature and humidity, the weather becomes oppressive. Why the weather becomes oppressive? If you don't remember all the things, remember for your preliminary examination, clear skies, more temperature, oppressive, and which is commonly known as an October heat, But the weather in the retreating monsoon is dry in most of the India in the North India, but it is associated with the rain in the eastern part of the peninsula. It is associated with the rain in the eastern part of the peninsula. That is, the eastern region of the peninsula gets rainfall. If I ask you why, the answer is, you can see the tropical cyclones which originate over the Bay of Bengal region reach the eastern coast of India, and therefore you know the tropical cyclone is a natural disaster and it causes very heavy rainfall with gutsy winds with very high velocity wind. And you can see how severe a tropical cyclone is. You see where the eye of a tropical cyclone is. Can you see the hole in the tropical cyclone? That is an eye of a tropical cyclone. Therefore we say the in the upper atmosphere in the tropical cyclone there is an anticyclonic condition, while in the lower part there is cyclonic condition. Now, since we are in the northern hemisphere, you see how the tropical cyclone is moving. The air is going in an anti-clockwise manner. So, cyclones in which the air moves in an anti-clockwise manner in the northern hemisphere, anticyclones clockwise manner in the northern hemisphere, vice versa, exactly opposite for the southern hemisphere. So you just have a general idea of the tropical cyclone and see from where the air is getting pulled upward. Tropical cyclone is there in the Bay of Bengal, but that big cloud cover of a cumulonimbus cloud is covering Orissa, is covering Andhra Pradesh, some part of Tamil Nadu, and trailing clouds, even the clouds from the Delhi region are attracted towards this low pressure center from all the surrounding regions. So such a severe heat engine is a tropical cyclone. Therefore, the tropical cyclones give very heavy rainfall to the eastern coast of India, and therefore the answer is dry. The weather in the retreating monsoon is dry in the north, but it is associated with rain in the eastern part of the peninsula. Now, the widespread rain, that is why the widespread rain in this season is associated with the passage of cyclonic depressions which originate over the Andaman Sea and manage to hit the eastern coast of the southern peninsula, the southern part, that is the eastern coast of the southern peninsula. These tropical cyclones are very destructive, especially in the thickly populated delta regions of Krishna and Godavari and Kaveri. Every year it brings disaster here. Now, this already we know, I'm just revising, most severe and devastating tropical cyclones originate in the Indian seas, especially the Bay of Bengal. The highest frequency of the cyclones is in the month of October and the first half of November. Why is this? Because you know the specific heat of water. Water takes time to get heated up. Now, you see this point. Somewhere in the class notes or some of you're a student from the Supercross itself, you have one of the student, one of my friend, your friend has asked me a doubt that do the tropical cyclone, he read it somewhere and it was given in the MCQs, that the tropical cyclones after originating in the Bay of Bengal, they hit the coastal regions, and then there it was saying that is they hit the east coastal plain, managed to cross the peninsular India and enter the Arabian Sea region. This is what it was written in some book. Actually, the problem is that the NCERT language, the new NCERT language is a bit difficult. There is some spelling mistake in NCERT. Remember, what here they had asked, the statement whether the tropical cyclones originate in the Bay of Bengal, manage to cross the southern peninsula and enter the Arabian Sea. Is it right or wrong? I'm asking you, is it right or wrong? Look at the basics of the tropical cyclone. Tropical cyclone is a moist heat engine. Moist heat engine means it requires moist heat for its survival. When I say moist heat in climatology or in geography, it means heat from oceans. So as soon as the tropical cyclones hit the land, it dies. What we say as a windfall. The tropical cyclone has made a landfall. It dies as soon as the eye of a tropical cyclone, that is the central part of a tropical cyclone, is hitting the coast. You can see it is dying. It is dissipating. That is even shown in the this animation here. So how can a tropical cyclone cross the entire peninsula and enter the Arabian Sea? It is not at all possible. These tropical cyclones have origin in the Arabian Sea itself. These tropical cyclones have origin in the Bay of Bengal itself. You can see here a fully developed tropical cyclone, as soon as it is reaching near the land, as soon as the eye is reaching near the land, it is dying, it is dissipating. Okay. So some of the notes which are very popular among the students, they are saying that the tropical cyclones manage to cross the peninsula and enter the Arabian Sea. No, not at all it can be possible. That is why I have included the animation that it is dying as soon as it is reaching the coast. Okay. So obviously we know that more severe cyclones originate in the Indian Sea, especially in the Bay of Bengal, while the highest frequency is in the month of October and the first half of November. So this was all about the monsoons. I hope that you have enjoyed and you have understood the concept of the monsoon, solved the past year paper. Remember, El Nino, that is the warming of South Pacific, weakens the Indian monsoon, while exactly opposite phenomena, that is La Nina, that is more than normal cooling of the South Pacific, makes monsoon strong. Makes monsoon strong. Southwest monsoon. Southwest monsoon strong. Therefore, there is more rainfall. Therefore, there is more rainfall. While El Nino is associated with drought-like conditions in India, in India. In Asia, it is also associated with the forest fires. In Indonesia, Australia. What is El Nino? It is warming of South Pacific. Southern Pacific. Okay, so this is all about the monsoons. We'll meet with the next chapter, that is vegetation and associated, that is first we'll study the average annual rainfall in India, and then we'll meet with the next chapter, that is vegetation. So the next is also very conceptual. Listen to it very properly. Thank you very much.